Hey, what's happening everyone? I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, and today I'm here to provide you with my review on another PlayStation Vita exclusive known as Hyperdevotion Noire Goddess Blackheart. Now in this game, this is pretty much a spin-off of the main installment known as Hyperdimension, but here instead of taking place in game industry, instead you're going to be taking place in Gamerket, where you have all the CPUs battling it all out of who's going to take control of Gamerket, while Noire is leading her army of generals and almost became victorious. During their actual initial break, she was greeted by this mysterious lady who tells her that don't you ever wish that you could just have peace and not have to fight all about this. So she tricks Noire by leading her into her shares and thus making a wish, but after making this special wish, it was apparently a trap where all the shares of Gamerket has disappeared. Now it's up to Noire to not only reunite with the generals, but also to get together with the CPUs to defeat this lady and to bring peace once and for all. Now going over the graphics, visually the game looks awesome on the PlayStation Vita. As always, the game is bright and colorful, all kinds of different references and characters that you get to meet along your journey. Now at first I wasn't too sure of how the models were for this particular title, but in the end it actually grew on to me. It actually worked out quite well, especially when you see the characters using their special attacks and or ultimate attacks. Just everything about it was really nice and of course extremely colorful. Now let me go ahead and talk about the gameplay, because the gameplay is the meat portion of Hyperdevotion, and the way it's broken down is like this. This game is pretty much a turn-based strategy game, so at the start of your turn you get to use one of the following commands, such as attacking, moving, using a special ability, an ultimate attack, buffing, debuffing, items, lifting objects, throwing objects, and of course interacting with objects, and that's pretty much about it, and it goes back and forth between you and your opponent. Now the game does also feature a lily ring system, and the way it works is like this. When you are standing next to one of your allies and you're going to be using a special ability such as an attack and or buffing skill, the characters that are next to you either to the left, right, above, or behind will be giving you a kiss on the cheek, which will go towards your lily points, and the more points you have, you'll be able to unleash an ultimate attack that each character has one of their own. Now when you're not taking place in combat and you're back at HQ, there's some more additional options. One of the options here is that you can choose to do side activities such as missions to get more items and of course level up your characters, and each side mission has its own personal ranking system, so the more you progress through the game, the harder and harder the side missions will tend to get. There's also another option where you can go and craft weapons and items, so as long as you have the proper materials to craft such items, then you'll be able to acquire it, and of course the item will become available within the in-game store. As for the in-game store, the more you progress, the more items you tend to unlock, such as weapons, accessories, which will either buff or debuff your characters along the way, and of course you also have a couple more options. One of them is a little gimmick where you can go and customize Noire's apartment, so if that's something you enjoy, you can go and add some furniture, picture frames, all kinds of unique stuff, so when the CPUs come and visit her, you could all have a wonderful party. And of course, last but not least, there's also an option where you as the player get to interact with Noire. We kind of get to learn a little bit more about her character in general, and of course go head to head with competitions, and overall it's a really cool bonding between you as the player and Noire as a character, which I thought was really well done. But in the end, the gameplay portion was a lot of fun and definitely has a lot of replay value.
The best in the universe? How'd they determine that? Are you sure you aren't worried about your city? Well, yes I am. But still, I can't do anything about it all by my lonesome self. She is absolutely correct. Oh, my poor little eye. There, let big sister Vert protect you. Again with the I'll protect you line from Vert, I see. Pardon me? What do you mean? Oh, right. I forgot you can't break the fourth wall as metally as me. It was like 33 lines ago.
As we get to the sound portion of the game, as always, the game does feature a fantastic soundtrack to go along with it, and of course the game does also give you the option to choose between the original Japanese voice actors or the English voice actors, and I gotta say, I played the game through both options, and both, depending on whichever option you go with, both sounded fantastic, especially the English voice actors. I have to give it props to give emotion and detail to each and every character, and I was pleased of how well their performance was. But in the end, the sound portion is just fantastic overall, and definitely something you're going to enjoy listening to. Now as for the lifespan, what kind of lifespan do I see here? And to be honest, I don't even know where to begin because there is a lot of replay value for this title. I mean, I can't tell how many Easter egg and references that I've seen in this game and how many that I probably even missed throughout my first playthrough, and just everything about this game is just really enjoyable. The gameplay, the story, the characters, the humor, every single thing about it. And one of my personal favorite references in this game is the fact there's a reference to the character Snake from Metal Gear Solid 4. That is right, you have a character in this game by the name Lid, who is basically an exact female version of Snake, and I thought it was really enjoyable. Heck, she even has a box, one of her special attacks. There's even some Dragon Ball Z references in there, breaking the fourth wall. Just everything about this game is really enjoyable, and I definitely see players coming back, even myself, to replaying this over and over again. But definitely a lot of replay value here, and something you're not going to get bored anytime soon. As for the innovative, was there anything new here? Was this something that we already seen before? As stated, this is pretty much a spin-off of the main installment, so what they did is that they took stuff that we were familiar with of the main installment and they switched it out ever so slightly, and still it gave a fantastic feel for it. But in the end, I'm going to give Hyperdevotion a 9 out of 10. Definitely well worth adding if you're a Hyperdimension fan. This is well worth your price of admission, and of course the replay value is going to keep you playing more and more, at least into the next Hyperdimension game. But until then, if you guys want to see some gameplay, definitely check that out over at Gamerfuzion.com, where we empower your gaming.